Okay, thank you, Lucas, for the energizer. After this, we are ready to tackle motion 51. That reads this: the 62nd IPSF General Assembly accepts the changes to the domestic rules in relations to regional offices as proposed by the IPSF Executive Committee. This motion shall be achieved immediately. This motion shall not be reviewed once it has been achieved. And I will call James to the microphone to provide motivation.
Hello. So, the rationale behind this change was that in the past we have relied basically on the WHO regional groups as our basis for our regional offices, but there's been no defined structure within the official documents. So what I ran on a mandate in Porto of ensuring that we actually did have this defined by the end of my term, so this is what I've done. I did a bit of fair bit of research into defining which classification of geography would be best for our regional office box. Came upon the realization that the United Nations geoschemes is probably the best. The reason by doing it this way is that if in the future countries come, countries go, countries change names, it will be defined in external documents, so we won't have to change the official documents hopefully. There are a couple of countries that are accepted from the United Nations geoscheme, and this is done for either cultural or political reasons. The biggest ones would be the moving of Iran and Afghanistan from the ACRA office into the EMRA office, where they currently sit. And the others is moving Israel, Cyprus, and Turkey from the Eastern Mediterranean to the European regional office, where they currently sit. The only member currently as it stands that would change regional offices is IPSF Armenia, who would change from the European regional office to the Eastern Mediterranean regional office. In regards to where these countries lie and where these countries sit in regions, it's very hard to decide these border countries that may be politically and culturally similar to other countries, so we've tried to do that with that in mind. So, if you have any questions or if you have any comments or proposals to move countries, please do bring it up.
So, any comments or questions? Okay, we have IPSF Egypt.
Sorry, James, but can you repeat them again, the countries?
So, the countries that have exceptions are the Islamic Republic of Iran and the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan, which will move from Asia Pacific to Eastern Mediterranean, and Israel, Republic of Cyprus, and Republic of Turkey, which will move to the European regional office. This is done structures so that we're not moving too many members and causing confusion and problems down the line. The only member that will change is IPSF Armenia, who will change from the European regional office where they currently sit to the Eastern Mediterranean regional office.
Capsi Canada?
Cassandra, Canada. Just a clarification, is this listed in the changes to the official documents in the folder? But I can't seem to find it. Which one?
It is at the bottom 11.11. Article 11.1.
So next we have SOP Denmark.
Has Armenia shown, has they asked for changing the regional office, or are they still thinking about it? Just want to know if this is something we're deciding or if they actually want to change, because like I haven't decided to keep it in Europe anyway.
From Armenia's side, we have language communication. So this is why we kind of come to the decision we have. It was quite a tough decision for the executive to make with them. And we decided in the end that unless we do get interest to put them into the European office, we'll just leave them where they fall based on the GA schemes. That being said, if you believe that we want fitting for the European regional office, we can propose it to them.
Any other comments or questions? NAPS Australia.
UK NAPS Australia. Does this apply to all countries, the other countries as well? Do you get their consent or any decisions made from them, or it was just chosen by the expert?
It's basically been done with this without current changes.
Any other comments or questions on this subject? SOP Denmark.
Teams in Denmark, so maybe we should have an amendment to keep Armenia in Europe so that they have stated whether or not they want to be a part of Federal or Europe. Should I say it again?
Okay, so you're saying to keep Armenia in the European Regional Office.
Until they state whether or not they want to be a part of Federal or Europe.
Yeah. So the EXCO are discussing and they will let you know.
sorry for the delay, guys. We're just discussing the change as internally to see if we support.
Okay, so regarding the amendment, we have some comments from there.
Right, so just regarding this, to further clarify, on behalf of the IPSF Executive Committee, there are a few factors with this one and why it was decided to change them. Part of that is we changed them based on the existing geo schemes that are out there, which are based on cultural and also health factors. So those regions are grouped together in our mind based on where our chairpersons thought would be appropriate during discussions. There is this discussion that was in the EM1 minutes, finalized in the EM2 minutes, sent over the CP group. So we have been working on the understanding that they were informed of this. However, there has been no particular special notice given to any particular country. So additionally, the Armenia CP is contactable, but not necessarily active. So it is quite difficult for us to be able to speak on the association's behalf when they may or may not actually respond to us. So that is why at this point we had chosen to place them here, because there is always a possibility that next year they can make a motion to change their region if they feel that that is more appropriate for them. But we acted in this way in an attempt to do our best to inform everybody of the situation. So certainly I leave it up to you, but know that all of us are acting on an assumption, unfortunately. So in regards to an amendment, the executive committee is not changing their voting, but certainly if you as members feel strongly that we should keep them in the European office, then go ahead and have a proposer and a seconder, and we'll just change it from proposer as executive committee to whoever proposes and seconds from the actual GA members.
Okay, so having that said, Suki Denmark, would you like to propose an amendment? Second, KNPSV the Netherlands seconds this amendment. So I will open the floor for discussion on the amendment to change Armenia to the European Regional Office. Is there a need for motivation, or is it clear for everyone? Okay, KNPSV the Netherlands.
Diederik KNPSV the Netherlands. The reason why I think it's important to keep Armenia in the Euro region, is because, well, of course, they can apply a motion and that they want to go back, but then there's a very strong argument that last year, and then the word changed, so now you have to stay that up. So it's easier then to propose a motion to change to Eastern Mediterranean than to go back to Europe. So I think it's better if they stay in Europe and it's decided on later.
Okay, so just to clarify something, SPSF and LPSA, you raise your hands to comment on the motion 51. We are now discussing the amendment, so if you want to speak, okay, yeah. Okay, LPSA,
I actually don't know if I have a question before, so I can see if I ask one question. Is there criteria, like a set criteria that says when someone can move from one region to another? No. Then actually, another question.
no, there isn't. Any other questions or comments regarding the amendment that is being proposed? As I see no comments, I will close the floor for discussion and we will vote on the amendment to motion 51, being the amendment, the fact that we're going to change Armenia from the Eastern Mediterranean Regional Office to the European Regional Office. So, anyone against this amendment, please raise your voting cards up high. Any abstentions? So the amendment has been approved unanimously. Okay, so back to motion 51. SPSF Sudan is the one to speak. Okay. LPSF, I don't know, just the same thing. Any other questions or comments on this motion? As I see no further comments, I will close the floor for discussion on motion 51 and we will proceed to voting on the motion. So motion 51 states that the 62nd IPSF General Assembly accepts the changes to the domestic rules in relations to regional offices as proposed by the IPSF Executive Committee, with the exception of Armenia, which shall be a member of the European Regional Office. This motion shall be achieved immediately. This motion shall not be reviewed once it has been achieved. Anyone voting against this motion, please raise your voting cards up high. Any abstentions? So these changes have been approved. Thank you very much. Okay, so now we have motion 45 that refers to the financial report of 2015-2016. So I will welcome Michael to the stage. as soon as he can. Can I have green emotion cards if you are able to have the financial report in your laptops? And also, can you tell me if you want us to project the financial report? Green if yes, red if no. Please, everyone, show your emotion cards. Okay, I see more green, so we will put it up. Okay guys, we just received information that Bianca is available to answer your questions, and she has a very short availability for personal reasons, so I would like to know if you would mind to change to the report chairperson of Student Exchange. Green if you don't mind, red if you do. Thank you very much. So we will go for the report of the chairperson of Student Exchange. So motion 35 reads this: the 62nd IPSF General Assembly accepts and adopts the report of the Chairperson of Student Exchange 2015-2016. And I would like to welcome Dale to this thing.
Okay, so we're going to go with the same procedure as before, but we'll go ahead and take questions for the 8 minutes, and Bianca is available. I've got somebody typing questions to her. As a point of information, Bianca is already typing up the answer to ComPSB's question earlier regarding the fees in SEP and DAPs. We'll go ahead and open the floor for Bianca's report. Yeah. Sorry, did you want to clarify technical or? Okay, so we'll go up at Portugal and then back to ComPSB. Yes.
If I have Portugal, I want to make a comment on the Chairperson of Student Exchange report. I want to tell my opinion about the SEP program. I think this program right now has some things that have to be changed, because IPSF and SEP are protecting countries that are not working on the program. SEOs are not attending to SEOs meetings that they have to go and no consequences at all are taken. Countries that reserve students, and after a while they unreserve them without any explanation.
Okay, technical, keep in mind we are swipe typing this to Bianca, so let us know if there is, like, basically at the end this is good motivation, but for her purposes she'll just see the question at the end.
And please just stay a little bit away from the mic.
I like that. If I have a question again, going again with my comment, IPSF should focus on countries that really like to work on this program, that make efforts for this, that pay lots of money to have lots of incoming students, and not countries who are not working. So, and I want to make a comment about the SEC team. This year's SEC team was, I theoretically made by 10 people, but for me, just Miss Petra and Mr. Martin worked well. And I want to know Miss Bianca's opinion about it. Thank you.
Okay, we have Hansi.
Dieter King, based in the Netherlands. This year, IPSF Switzerland did not have SEP. However, there were placements in Switzerland which were performed by the Student Exchange Committee. And I would like to know how they were filled and if they were successful. Just an update on that.
So the results of the IPSF Switzerland exchanges. Okay. Back to update.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Never mind.
Oh, yeah, I figured. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we're just waiting for her answer. She's typing. Okay, so she has the answer regarding the database that was proposed or provided in a previous report, and now we're defaulting to here. So Bianca's reply is that I would first like to mention some background things in the database this year. In October, the database had issues, meaning that the cron was locked, meaning the details of the programming were corrupted. And the quota was not updating automatically in the system itself. Also, the applications could only be seen by the first SEOs on the list and not other ones after that. Thus, WebTown, which is the company that created the SEP website, and the database was contacted and problem was solved. The sum for fixing this, just this problem for that temporary amount of time, was 220 euros, which was 170 little e plus VAT. I'm sorry, I actually do not know what that means. I hope that you understand as European. Which is 27%. VAT is 27% in Hungary, where the company is based. So the company from Hungary was issued in Hungarian currency. While arranging the details for this fixing, we have observed that our contract with WebTown expires this July, and therefore we have some options. Either renew our contract, do not renew the contract, and start searching for another company. WebTown also mentioned that the current database we have is a bit old in terms of technology, and thus they gave us an estimated cost of what they thought would be necessary in order to renew the database, but not create a new one from scratch. So exclusively to update, this cost was a sum of the equivalent of 15,000 euro plus that 27% VAT. Considering that this is a lot of money, we've started to consider other options and have decided we would search for another company that can design both the SEP database and the website specifically. This would not renew the contract with WebTown and hope that the database would not crash until we get a new one. So the plan was the following. So I have no idea how long this question is from. Bear with me, thank you. So the plan was the following. SEP, the Student Exchange Committee, is going to be coming up with a good plan for the database, which is a technical manual which was distributed to SEOs, so that we can make sure all the changes that we want in a new database or an updated one will be included in this manual. And in the meantime, start searching for companies. The media and publications team was more involved in that aspect of design, and progress was made in this manner. So hopefully next SEP year would be the last SEP year with this old database. Hopefully that within a year we would have a new one, and the money from from IPSF, it goes to the IPSF general budget and is distributed to the cost of IPSF. the cost from SET, so to clarify, the costs that we collect from applications for SET do not go directly to SET. They are distributed within the IPSF general operating budget. And if you have more questions on the budgetary aspects, Mike will be giving his report, so you can ask questions of that. And she is typing in regards to the questions from Portugal and the other from case regarding the substitute. I've got Apa Portugal, followed by GPS Ghana.
If I have a question, I want to make a new suggestion for the next year. I think that someone from SEC could be responsible for the database, for the SEC database, someone from the SEC team to be directly responsible for the database, because it has lots of issues, lots of technical problems that can be solved with someone directly working with that. And I want to make a comment too on Miss Bianca's performance this year. It was amazing working with her. She was always there. She had lots of stuff to do. She was always answering me by Facebook, email, everything. I think she is amazing. The only problem I think that Bianca has is that is she too smooth for sometimes, and some things that could be more strict, and things could have other destiny. Thank you.
So the 8 minutes are up. So okay, so I would like to see a motion cards if the GA would mind just one more question from GPS Ghana, which is the only speaker left. Green if you don't mind, red if you do. Okay, so GPS Ghana, go ahead.
Red GPS Ghana. I'd like to ask were there checks to make sure that participants of SEP in various countries were very well taken care of? Because I have some friends who said they went to other countries and they weren't as comfortable as it seemed like they were going to be taken care of. Yes. So was there any checks to make sure that everybody was taken care of as it was stated in, yeah.
So we have Amy who's typing next. And there is a response to IPSF Portugal regarding the SEC team question. So SEC team this year was better than the previous year. At the beginning, all of them were involved in certain tasks and were very responsive. However, throughout the entire year, this responsiveness got lower in some members, and that we only had 7 from 10 SEC members being there and accomplishing the tasks. I really believe that after the SEC in-person meeting, things changed a lot since we got the chance to actually get to know one another, and thus things really improved. As for the SEC members that were unresponsive, I've managed to obtain an answer for them. They were all overwhelmed with work and SEC tasks. In the end, they could not handle to do them both. However, from my understanding, the SEC buddy program still worked. So at least I'm happy with this. Another thing is that I'm happy about is, more things showed up. Okay. One other thing that I am happy about is that for the next year, we know now how to tackle things. We know that SEC bonding is really important and that we should focus on this aspect too. And we will also pay more attention to the ones that are nominated and make sure they know that SEC means a bit more work than other positions. The answer regarding SF Switzerland for PSB is SF just had one placement due to the fact that the pharmacy host had contacted Bianca and expressed their wish for collaboration. So one host contacted her in the end. We did pre-selections and had 2 applications, and we selected the one that was also confirmed by the host. In addition, from what she saw with SF Switzerland, the placement went okay, and I'm waiting for the annual report to actually see all of the details. And all in all, it seems like a good option for SEC to handle pre-selections if an association does not have an SEO but has a few placements. And so at this point, we are just waiting on her response that she's creating in regards to the question proposed by IPSF. Is it technical?
Can you please read the minutes?
Did can please read minutes? I believe even had a question about unresponsiveness, and if there is also kind of punishment for that, and we didn't get an answer to that. I think.
Was it a question or a comment?
But then I would like to make a question about it. Is she going to find the unresponsible CEOs?
We are close the discussion.
I would like to propose a procedural motion to reopen the floor for discussion.
So regarding that, are you talking about I understand that SEC is kind of talking with the SEOs right now regarding that. And I know that it was going to be a larger answer. And I believe that generally the response to that, because it wasn't solidly a question for here, it was more seen as a comment for consideration. Does that help for now? It's kind of a large question to follow up on. The woman who's mentioning regarding inactivity of SEOs and repercussions. This was in regards to Ivan's comment regarding repercussions for inactive SEOs. Okay, and that was something that my understanding is being discussed more exclusively with the SEOs and SEC currently. Is that my understanding? Because it's a very long answer and email discussion, at least that I have seen on the SEO email group. Okay.
No, I think this point is not being discussed in our SEO group. We have many discussions, but this topic was not raised.
And did you get this in minutes? I would really like to see this limited in the GA as well, because.
Okay, so what is the version of your question so we make sure we actually have them here? Yeah. I'm just trying to clarify if we are missing something that we sent to you, because I don't see it in my group. Can you tell me the sentence that you're asking her from previously?
So then I made a comment, not a question, right?
Correct.
Was that my comment was talking about unresponsive SEOs. Okay, but right now didn't want to open the floor for 1 minute discussion, right?
Okay, so separate.
It's separate points, right?
Okay.
I just want to make your comment and your question. Yeah.
Okay, so the seconder to take this motion. Okay, I have Portugal. I will open the floor for discussion on this procedural motion. No? Okay, everyone understands the motivation? Okay. No one really said anything. Everybody understands what we're talking right now? Green cards, red cards? Okay, so basically, IPSF, the Netherlands, wants to make one more question, and they want to reopen the subject of the discussion. Okay. So, since there are no further comments, I will close the floor for discussion, and we will vote on this motion. So, anyone against opening the floor for discussion? Okay, so we will open the floor for discussion again. But firstly, I would, since we only have one speaker, which is IPSF, the Netherlands, and we didn't have anyone else before, I would like to know, for time-saving purposes, if you would mind to close the discussion after the question from the group. Okay, great. So, IPSF, the Netherlands.
Dietrich, KNPC, the Netherlands. I would like to know if the chairperson of Students Exchange is going to actually follow the regulations in giving a fine to unresponsive SEOs, and if not attending a mandatory SEO meeting also counts as unresponsiveness.
And while we're giving that question to Bianca, I have an answer for GPSA Ghana's question. So there is no official checking, let's say, about the quality of the placements. Basically, all is done in the database and the profile of the association. If there's a lot of info in the database, if the SEO is responsive and gives details to the students in due time, I believe that this means that the respective association offers quality placements. I believe that at the end, when the evaluation of the annual reports will be done, we would have a better idea of which countries provided the best exchanges, and we can take initiative in helping others develop better ones. And she's hoping that provides enough detail for your question, unless you have more to clarify. To clarify your question.
During GPSA Ghana, I was just going to suggest something, is that fine?
Yeah.
I'm suggesting that for everybody that takes part in the set program, maybe a form for just a few questions about their stay and how they enjoyed the program would give a better idea of whether the country is really doing well and stuff.
To clarify that does exist. Good idea. Got a clarification or some sort from Caxton Canada.
Hi, Cassandra, Caps Canada. Deirdre, can you just repeat what you said about the fine?
So, do you want me to answer the question that we gave her?
Well, just because the fine isn't monetary anymore, I'm not sure if you were aware of that. It's now the probation year. That was a change that was made last year. So so Bianca doesn't have to also answer that. It is the probation year, and it was heavily discussed in our SEO meeting that there will be many countries going for a probation year. So she is working for that, just for clarification of that. Or
So I mentioned submitting punishment and the correct English term. So, requisitions.
So her answer is that I do not believe that setting fees for unresponsiveness is the best action that we need to take. SEO meetings are mandatory, and if an SEO did not participate without giving a valid reason for this unattendance, then for sure things will be taken into consideration. That's the answer. So based on that, and based on my understanding of how this executive committee is currently working and what's been discussed, I have not personally heard that we are taking action to enforce any sort of fee. So to directly answer that question. Clarification from SEC, correct?
From the CBSA Croatian SEC. So I would want to say that this year we changed a lot of SEC regulations, and we don't want fees like money to collect from member association. Because of that, the punishments would be more reports and more contact with the SEC body. So if that would not be possible or achieved during the year, then we will see again, according to the regulations, what will be done.
And then just as a point of information regarding our official documents, they're in constant revision, and so there are definitely things that we see as a federation that we are not currently doing. And what we do try to do with time is if we see that current practice is not being effective, then we try to make those changes in the official documents in the future. So I think that that is basically what we're trying to do, is that fees currently are not being enforced. So we are updating that to make it accurate in the official documents. Okay, so she's adding more in regards to her response to GPSA Ghana. So her plan is to evaluate the association forms, see how SEP exchanges went in those countries, and evaluate SEO activities throughout the entire year, and in the end, decide if the association will be put on probation year. Probation year means that the SEOs have to be more active than usual, has to give reports to both SEC Buddy and Chairperson of Student Exchange, and has to be very carefully organizing things in a good way. If everything will be okay, the association will pass probation year and everything will be normal again. If not, the association would not be allowed to participate in SEP. However, students from that country would be allowed to go, and they will participate in the quota of the individual members. Adding to council candidates, a comment? Yes, last year the fees were approved. However, there were some problems that we have not found the documentation on that in the discussions with all the SEOs, as many of them did not approve. That is why I would not take those fees into consideration. We done? We feeling comfortable with those answers so we can tell her to stop? Okay.
Okay, so time to vote on motion 55. It reads, this the 62nd IPSF General Assembly accepts and adopts the report of the Chairperson of Student Exchange 2015-2016. Anyone against this motion, please raise their voting cards up high. Any abstentions? This report has been accepted unanimously. Okay, so it's time for lunch. So I would like a proposer and a seconder So, NAPS Australia first. IPSF USA the second. Anyone against suspending the standing orders? Okay, so the standing orders are suspended. James will perform the roll call, and then we have some more announcements. Have a great lunch, everyone.
I'm going to make nominations firstly right now before we do the roll call. So there's been some confusion about the social event for tomorrow. I have confirmed with Cello that his school party tonight and international night will be tomorrow. The pool is located at the sporting venue here in Brisbane. Yes. The other announcement is that if you look towards the back of the room, you will see all the nomination forms for the executive committee. So have a look through the nomination forms when you get a chance. So, it seems like everyone's eager to do the roll. One more thing.
Sorry, so the signing for the humanitarian campaign will be in the dining hall. And we will go visit 3 orphanages to distribute the items we've collected. They are actually behind you. We've been counting the stuff, and we will go to PM. Thanks.
After Argentina, next to Australia, after second day, next to Australia, after Costa Rica, from Romania, after Portugal, Captain Canada, people Costa Rica, Constantine, Zim, Croatia, and Croatia, Japan. IPSF region, Australia, the Texas region, and in France, because region is a Ghana, because Jim Ghana is penetrating the IPS 20 and transfer of the Ghana, of the 7 markets and Malaysia, and causing the markets in Malaysia, is in the Netherlands, and the nuances, that's everything. And Nigeria, like the countries, and the other, to the other center, to the Portugal. Everyone necessarily SPS just the niche of DSS, so don't have to speak on just from the basic and even to see which is actually enjoy the language of media. It was a man king and the chairs, videos, and it says, no.